Hi everyone, welcome back to Workato for Beginners. Today we'll talk about how you can combine text and formulas in your data fields when moving over information. Okay, so I have a recipe here that I'm working on. So whenever a new ticket in Zendesk is created and it's assigned to a staff member, we want to create an automation that reaches out to them in Slack. So here if we click into step 3, we can see that we're sending them a direct message and we're providing them specific information, the subject, a link to that specific ticket, and primarily this information here, when it was assigned and when it was due. So the recipe looks good, so let's save it and test it. Now if we jump into Zendesk, we can see we have a ticket here ready to go, that a user is getting errors when trying to convert formula mode to a text output. It's been assigned to Devin, and the due date is July 1st. And if we open up Slack, we can see we have a conversation with Devin open here. So back in Zendesk, let's submit the ticket and create it. And we can see on the top right that the ticket has been created. So let's jump back into Workato, and we can see that the test was a success. So let's click into step 3 to see what details and information went through. And if we look at the bottom, we can see that the information went through. However, it's still in a timestamp and in a date format. Now, this isn't particularly useful for Devin to understand when the ticket was assigned, and the difference between the two types of information being inconsistent isn't really useful either. So let's see how we can fix that. So let's go back into the recipe, and in the attachment text field, we're going to switch it to formula mode. And in formula mode, I'll use a formula called string format time to reformat each of these data pills so that it's in a format that's readable. So with the day of the week, the day, the month, and the year. So we'll do that for both of them. So now that they're both reformatted, let's click save. And to test, we can go to test jobs up at the top and click repeat job. But it looks like we've run into an error. So let's try and understand what exactly happened here. So if we go back to attachment text and it's highlighted in red and it says below that the formula has errors. So unlike text mode, the field will take exactly what is read and post the text as is. In formula mode, you have to concatenate the message, which is to join all the strings or data together. And for each piece of text or each string, you have to surround it with quotations. And to join it with the data, you have to add a plus sign in between. So you can see these blue plus signs I'm adding here, and the quotations I'm adding around the text or string within the data field. So that should about do it. So I'll click save, and then I'll go back to test jobs and repeat the job again. And looks like this time we didn't get errors, so let's jump into step 3 to check out what the output was. And we can see here that the information or the data pills were converted into a readable format. However, if we look into Slack, it looks like all the information is bunched together. There are no breaks between the assigned on date and the due date. So how do we fix that? Well, in formula mode, you have to really be specific. So if you want to add spaces in a piece of text, you have to create quotations and create a space in between those. And additionally, if you want to create a line break, you have to write \n and then surround that in double quotes to make sure that you add a break between two lines of text. So that looks good. So let's click save, and we'll go back to test jobs and hit repeat job. And it looks like we have an error. So let's try and understand what happened here. It looked like everything was okay, but if I investigate it a little bit, it looks like after the spaces I just added, I forgot to add a plus sign to concatenate it with the data pill. So we'll fix that really quick. Click save. We'll go back to test jobs and hit repeat job one more time, and then let's see what happens. And great, no errors, so let's click into step 3 to see what came through. And on the right, we can see that the information has been converted, and there's a space between the two pieces of information, the assigned on and due date. And if we jump over to Slack, we can see that our efforts were a success. The dates look good, and there's proper spacing between all the information. So that's how you can combine text and formulas in a data field through concatenation. I hope this helps, and as always, thank you for watching.